I was just around October, so I started reading books, and it's just always, and ever since I read my first classic, it's just, well, not technically first classic, but like first classic that I just read on my own, it changed my life. It really did. And since I didn't have, like, normally when people are into books, they're not into like my specific taste, so I decided, let's try to make a discussion with other people on YouTube, or BookTube as some people call it, don't even ask why. But it's just a fun way to discuss about books, and I felt like I should join in on this bandwagon, and so far I'm kind of going up seat by seat. My favorite book, hands down, is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. It's about a schoolboy named Holden Caulfield who is expelled from his school, and he pretty much goes to New York for a few days, and he tries to find meaning in his life, and it's so beautifully done. It is so phenomenal. The language is gorgeous. The symbolism of the book, just the beauty of the book, like the symbolism drives the book, and you're not really reading a coming-of-age story for the gripping story like an adventure book, but it's more of like a character-driven book, and especially with Holden Caulfield, who's the main character. He's just so well done. The way he's written in is that he's done in first person, and the first person is the best example of any first person I could ever give. It's not, this character is limited to what he can say at a time, and it's just so well done. You can feel like he's an actual person, and it's just gorgeous. I love Catcher in the Rye, and I just can't recommend it enough if you are like one of the 10 people that haven't read it. Oh man, you think that it'd be J.D. Salinger because he wrote my favorite book, but that's the thing. The thing is, that's the only novel he's ever written. He wrote 3 short story collections, or 3 novella collections, and of course Catcher in the Rye, and that was it. He, like, in the 1960s, he subsisted from society, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to go into New Hampshire where no one can find me. Bye. So he didn't write another book, or at least didn't get published at all since like the 60s, and it's so, oh my goodness, it's such a sad fact because he's such a brilliant writer. But some of my other favorites include Kurt Vonnegut, who wrote Slaughterhouse-Five. That's a fantastic author. Charles Dickens, I love him. Who else would I consider some of my favorite authors? Yeah, really, I'm gonna leave it off at those 3, Salinger, Vonnegut, and Dickens. Those are probably my 3 favorite, and I really can't choose between them because I have not given a negative rating to any of their books, which for me, a positive rating is a 3-star and above. 3-star out of 5-star, obviously. And those are the only 3 authors I haven't given at least 2 stars to. I at least gave 3 stars and above to each of the books that I've read from them. And it's just brilliant. Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. I know I've been discussing about this book late. If you were in my English class, you heard me speak about this book to death, and especially about this character, but Holden Caulfield, like I said when I was talking about Catcher in the Rye, he just has such a charisma to him. He's like a character where you could put him in society and he'd work. He'd be a functional human being, and even though he's different, he's a good type of different, even though some of the stuff he does is kind of, yeah. And he's the first character, like, I like to call myself, not really, but like, I kind of have my problems with humanity, and this character states some of those problems, and I'm like, finally, somebody gets it. And the person who wrote this is like a 30-year-old man. It's telling a point of view of a teenager. It's so gorgeous. He's such a phenomenal character. He's like, oh my goodness, he's like Gatsby combined, brilliance of Gatsby combined with like, I don't know. He's easily my favorite character of all time. Just not in books, just in fiction. I don't have any more questions, but I have a few more comments. One, subscribe to my channel. Ching! And also, if you don't give reading a chance, it's a lot of fun. You don't just have to read the classics like I do. Like I'm trying to branch out from just past classics and go towards modern contemporary as well, and it's been successful so far. And reading is just so diverse. It's such a fun hobby, and it exercises your brain, and people actually approve of it. Unlike some other activities that people say, get off your game, like something like that. It's so much fun. It's my favorite form of escapism. And if you haven't if you're not a fan of reading, try to find a book that interests you, especially if you're more of a fictional type person or a non-fictional type person. Pick up a book that seems to interest you and read it. It doesn't have to be like a 1,500 page Les Mis type book, but it could be just 100 pages. One of my favorite books is 100 pages. And
what book is that?
Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Yeah, just give reading a try. It's such a fun hobby.